well, this is different. I don't know. I can't put my finger on. Something just seems a little different. Oh, hey! I didn't see you there. Oh, wait, you're just a camera. Why am I talking to you? Forget it. We're doing it live. This is the DLOpinions podcast for June the 31st. It is one day till Canada Day, where we celebrate that we are just extremely bad at electing politicians, and all we do is smoke crack, apparently. So this is a different format, too. I figured I'd try this with a webcam and have a little bit of graphic implementation. You know, there's a lot of surprises to be held in here. And because I did need something to test out before I start the chat box, which will be tomorrow, if it edits fast enough. Wink, wink. Maybe. Okay. But we got a lot to talk about, and hopefully it will keep me sane, although judging by what I'm looking at, it will not. But first, as always, we have to start off with this.
Taking the less relevant stories and getting them right out of the way. Don't worry, we'll get to the good stuff soon enough. This is Quick Hits.
Well, I guess we got to start off with EA Sports, as much as I'm not happy to. I am Canadian and a hockey lover too, so the NHL 14 cover athlete is going to be Martin Brodeur, who is, anybody who isn't a hockey fan, you should know who he is. We're talking about one of the best goaltenders ever in the game of hockey, and it's a crime that it's been, how long did they say it was? Since like 97 or something that a goalie was on the cover? Or something ridiculous like that. Like, he deserves it, especially because this will probably be his last year, so, you know, I'm really happy for him, and I hope that he gets, well, it's still going to be a bad game, but either way, you know, at least somebody decent's on the cover might attract some people. Speaking of EA, they have said, without really explaining what that is, that they're going to be slowly changing Origin over the next year to focus on gamers. Now, what that means, I guess, is they're only going to fuck their customers in the ass a little bit less now. They say, you know, oh, we're going to improve the install, the download. And I'm like, okay. Sales? No? Okay. Come back to me when you do. Anyway, Xbox One will not be coming packaged with a headset like every other Xbox ever has. The 360 always did. But apparently, this is a maybe, they're not sure at this point, that 360 headsets may work because the controller on the new Xbox One is a different input and it would not take the 360 headset, so I guess they're working on a way to make it work. Why you're not equipping this with a headset, it's just like, come on guys, you're charging us $500 already. Like, stop. But Microsoft was ever so nice to tell us too that they're no longer going to be charging developers to update their games, and apparently, I didn't know this. Apparently, it costs them over like tens of thousands of dollars just to update their game. Update, not add content, just update, like patches. Really? Developers got to pay money to fix a broken game? God, I'm learning way too much about this console. Man, it's making my decision to help a lot easier for the next generation now, isn't it? And then another stupid story that comes out from Microsoft, the Kinect for PC. Remember we talked about this a month ago and I had no idea why it existed in the first place. But apparently it's being priced at $399. So, to get a Kinect for my computer, it's going to cost me more than... Actually, it's going to cost me the same for a PS4. You could get a shitty laptop for that price. Like, for something that nobody's going to use, that's really the price you thought up. Okay, that's props. Microsoft, you're killing it. Last two stories have to do with the Ouya. Apparently, on the first day of launch at Amazon and GameStop, I'm assuming online because I don't remember hearing anything about it being in store form. It's sold out on the first day, which is crazy when you think about it because it's just an Android console. But I guess, you know, people really like the idea. However, Google has now made it interesting because they plan on making their own Android console to compete with Ouya. Google just wants to own everything. It's not that I'm complaining. I think Google can do a good job. So, it's going to be really interesting to see that kind of a console battle, given that, we're talking an Android gaming console, and we're talking two of them all of a sudden. Like, I don't think any of us would have seen that coming, would we? So that's all our stories. We'll still get to releases. There's a lot less than last week, that's for sure, so I might be able to get through this without killing myself. On the 2nd of July, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, the Vengeance DLC, more map packs coming out. I haven't touched Call of Duty in a little while. Well, I do have the Seasons Pass, so I'm getting it free anyway, but I don't know if I'll be playing those maps pretty soon. But the map they're redoing from Black Ops is Summit. What is it called now? Is it called, I can't remember. Oh, no, it wasn't a Ray. I don't know. Uplink, there we go. But yeah, it's just more map packs and a new zombies mode. It's like, whatever. They're bringing in a new ray gun, apparently, and I'm like, I never get the ray guns. For me, it didn't mean anything. Other than that, The Inquisitor, The Plague for PC, and Crash City Mayhem for the 3DS. That's all on the 2nd of July. That's all Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. On the 3rd, we have Mortal Kombat Complete Edition for the PC, which means that PC gamers will finally get to play the new one. And Scourge Outbreak for the Xbox Live Arcade. And after that, it's just dark for the PC on the 5th of July. It's a really, really quiet week. I mean, I could bring out a bunch of Android games, but like, I've already stated my case on what I am with phone games and the small casual games. I don't understand them, so I refuse to talk about them here because I don't play them. So, we got two big stories. The first one was an interesting one, and I can kind of understand where it's going, and it doesn't. At the same time, it doesn't surprise me because we were all wondering this. But we were all wondering why the PlayStation 4 was $100 cheaper. We're thinking, how can Sony, as much as we were thinking, oh my god, that's a great price. But at the end of you have to think about it after at some point you have to sit there and think, okay, well, what is it about the PS4 that's going to make this $100 cheaper? Like, are they just taking a hit? And we found out that the reason that it actually is $100 cheaper than the 360 is while the 360 comes with a Kinect, the PS4 will not come with the Eye. Their camera that I guess I'm not a PlayStation guy, but I'm assuming that is what makes the Move work. And I guess for me it's not too big a deal. I mean, I have a Kinect, and after like maybe a couple days of using it, I was like, this is really stupid. Why do we have this? So for hardcore gamers, it's not going to affect anybody. And I mean, if the stereotypical gaming family, like the kids that want to play the cute little crazy motion games, then they'll pay the money to get the camera. So to me, I don't think that's that big a deal. The interesting thing that they also admitted, though, along with that, is that the backlash against the Xbox One, especially during the reveal, was like a great source for them to use to make the decisions that they did. Including the price point, removing the Eye, to making sure there's no DRM with it, that the whole use game things. As much as it doesn't matter now, it's still, they used all that fan explosion to basically get an upper hand, which isn't shocking. I mean, do you really blame anybody for doing it? I mean, it's business. So any opportunity you have, they're going to do it. And I think it's amazing that finally we got to see it really in full force, when we had the video of, how to, give a game to your friend to borrow. That was it. And I thought that was great. You don't see that in this industry. You see filmmakers and musicians, they're constantly taking shots at each other. Video gaming, this industry really hasn't had that very much anyway. So when Sony took all those shots of Microsoft, that was entertaining. It was so much fun to watch. And you can't argue with that. You can't not say that, that's not professional. It doesn't have to be. This is business. All bets are off. And given how Sony had a real rough time with the PS3, especially with the hacking and everything else, they really needed something to get themselves back into the game because, we'll make the argument again. PlayStation 2 owned that generation. Owned it, not even close. Like, Xbox had nothing on the PS2. So then we get to the next generation, and Xbox 360 kicks the shit out of PS3. So Sony's like, we really miss being the best. Like, can we fix this? And then when the reveal came out for the Xbox, they looked at this and said, and they had all the fire they needed. So, I mean, otherwise, when it comes to the eye, it won't make a difference to me because I have no intention of buying it, and I'm kind of glad that it's not with it now because it's not some useless piece of crap that just sits there. So, I can't I can't imagine any game that's being that important that it needs it either. So it doesn't make any sense that the eye's even with it. It's the same reason why I don't understand why the Kinect's there. I mean, they said, oh, you had to have it to, like, the Kinect doesn't need to be there, and it's an insult to people that you're making them pay for it. They should be offering the same deal of $100 cheaper or whatever it is without the Kinect to sell that to the consumer at a lower price, because most of them aren't going to want that thing. None of us really want it. I mean, it's a piece of shit. It's useless, and I don't expect that this new version is going to be that much better. And even if it is, it's not going to be marginally better. It's just going to be like, that much better, like nothing. So I'm not exactly expecting it to wow anything, which doesn't make it worth having. So with the eye not being with the PlayStation 4, I'm okay with that. Actually, I'm really happy about that, because now it's not taking up space and it's not some piece of crap that I'm never going to use and I just wasted money on. So thanks, Sony. Thank you for giving me an option that works, an option that makes sense. Now, this is where the happiness stops. And this is where the absurdity and the anger is going to start. Because I thought everything got solved in Australia. In January, they put in a new system, because we've known for the longest time that Australia is just so notorious for banning games because of blood and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the most infamous one I remember seeing was how they had to edit Left 4 Dead 2 so it could be released in Australia, and it was so dumb. It was so dumb. There was no blood, and the zombies would not stay on the ground. Like, they would just... It was like an old PlayStation game where they just disappear, just slowly flutter away. I don't know what it is down there. Down under? Ha! I don't understand what it is that makes them freak out even more about games than they do in the States, which is amazing when you think about it, because you know how crazy they are about shit in the States when it comes to all this stuff. Although, the States are more aligned with sex than anything else. Now, when Australia in January put a new rating system so that actually mature games would have the 18+ rating, which of course means you cannot sell this, give this, or buy this for a minor. And it's actually a finable offense. So, we thought that problem was solved, because it's the end of June now, and up until this week, there was not a game on the list in the past 6 months that didn't get banned. And then all of a sudden, 2 games just like that. Saints Row 4 was the first, because of an anal probing weapon and because of, I guess, drug use or something like that. And then State of Decay got added to the list, which really pissed me off, because those are 2 games that I really like. I mean, I haven't played Saints Row 4 because it's not out yet, but I mean, I've loved every Saints Row game. And State of Decay was for the same kind of deal with drug use, because painkillers and that kind of medicine and pills and stuff is what you use to get health back. Now, that was their issue. It wasn't the gore, it wasn't the blood, it wasn't all the violence and stuff, which isn't really that big a deal to begin with. But when you bring in the fact that it's just because of drug use, you really think that banning games that have illicit drug use in them is going to stop kids from doing drugs. It's the same deal when they think when in the States they try to take away they try to censor all the sexual content and stuff, thinking that, it's going to stop making young kids have sex. You're never going to stop that shit. And it amazes me to no end that all these old, conservative idiots keep trying to make people live the life that they think is supposed to be the right one, because they will not research and they do not understand, this gaming industry. They will not take a far enough look, and all they see is the imagery. They don't see the message, and quite frankly, with Saints Row especially, you can't take anything that happens in that game seriously. You're not supposed to. For God's sakes, you're the president of the United States. You can spend the entire game naked if you want to. I mean, I remember listening to another podcast where they were talking about how, them playing a demo for it and how you walk up to one guy and he's screaming at you about something that you've done, and you either get the choice to punch him in the face or punch him in the balls. Like, this game is not meant to be taken seriously. It's a light-hearted, completely absurd game. And you're sitting there thinking, oh, because there's an anal probe. Listen to that. You're banning a game because of an anal probing weapon. You understand the absurdity of that. Like, it's meant to be absolutely absurd and hilarious. Something that's not meant to be violent. Well, even though it's violent. But it's meant to be just, a joke. And they decide that it would be a great idea to, automatically say, oh, this is dangerous. Nobody can play this. It's terrible. All this probing and all this dick jokes. No, let's be honest. They see all the content and immediately just go, oh my God, this is so dirty. My kid's gonna play this? No, I can't let that happen. Parents, if you're watching this, I know you're there. I can see you. But seriously, when are you guys gonna sit there and figure out that gaming is not a problem? It's not. It's harmless. There was an episode, I think this week it was, that Extra Credits put out. I haven't plugged those guys in a while, and I haven't got a chance to watch them in a little bit, so I was glad that I did. They posted their video for this week, and it was about how you can use video games to teach your children things. How you can connect with children with them. Instead of, just throwing them in front of their Nintendo Wii and just letting the console pretty much just babysit them for you. And it even got to the point where they talked about this one guy who, with his 3-year-old son, was playing Grand Theft Auto 4. Hear me out for a second. Let me finish. They went and picked up prostitutes. No, I'm just kidding. What they did was that he would just drive around obeying all the traffic laws. Speed limit, not running red lights, not hitting people, or at least trying not to, because, the driving in Grand Theft Auto 4 is pretty bad. But, all he would do is that whenever, certain cars would pass by, he would point out to one and say, okay, what color's that? And his son would point that out. Something as simple as that. We need to take into account that games, ever since they really became popular, and this is fact, crime is slowly going down. It's not guaranteed that gaming is part of it, but the major theory is that, because of all this fantasy stuff, all the violence you can let out on, it's keeping people inside. It's keeping people away from gangs. It's keeping people away from being out there, being mentally unstable, and going out on the town and killing people randomly. So when places, especially Australia, because I still have a bone to pick with Australia, because I think they're just ridiculous. I thought the States were ridiculous for the way they censor things, but Australia just takes the fucking cake. It's amazing to me just how much they censor. I don't know what to say to them. I don't know. I don't know what I could possibly say to convince anybody, any, congressman over there. I don't know what I could say to a politician down in Australia that would make them change their minds. Because I guarantee you, they're like every other parent out there. They do not listen to anybody young or anybody that understands the industry that they are against. The conversation comes up all the time. I've had arguments before, not just with my family, not just with, with other adults. I constantly have to defend this medium because a lot of them just do not understand. They do not get it. They just think that because the main games that sell the most are the shooters like Call of Duty, like Battlefield, like Grand Theft Auto. They think that just because there's all this violence, the kids are going to turn around and shoot up schools. The games have nothing to do with it. They have nothing to do with it. It all comes down to the simple fact that these kids are mentally unstable. Most of it is usually caused by trauma at home or trauma at school, and it adds up. It goes into their heads. I should know. I've had a massive run of depression in the past because of bullying, because of work, because of my life at home some days. It happens. But at the end of the day, it takes some real mental instability to not be able to tell yourself in your own head, yeah, I know you're pissed off, dude, but seriously, you don't want to go around killing people, do you? Oh, yeah? Watch me. No, seriously, dude, not a good idea. You're gonna get killed. Well, maybe that's what I want. Stop it. And that's all it takes. It's the same with I won't even touch that. Never mind. I was gonna go on suicide, but I'm not touching that subject with a 50-foot pole. But you get my point. It takes some real mental instability to make someone go into an elementary school nonetheless and shoot up a bunch of innocent kids. Not even just adults, kids. It takes a real fucked up person to do that. And no video game in the world could do that. You can even bring up the most offensive game out there, and it would not do it. It takes a mental disease to cause such violent acts. A game is nothing more than a tool of entertainment. There are people who blur the lines between entertainment and reality. But those people are weird, creepy, and mentally unstable. And thank God those games exist because they keep them inside and away from the general public. There are always going to be cases where somebody's going to go crazy and do something. And just like any other medium when it started out, parents, especially politicians, are always going to find something that's splashy and flashy and use it as a scapegoat. It happened like that with film. It happened like that with music. It's happening right now with games. In 50 years, games will be just the norm. Something else will come out, and it will take its place. We all know this. We're smart enough to know that. And the fact of the matter is we're going to be the idiots that do this too. I'm hoping that I'm not one of the idiots who do that. There are a lot of people I know that are the age of a lot of parents now, like 40s and 50s and whatever, that I play with and understand that this is normal, that this is nothing, to worry about. So it tells you that there are people with, heads on their shoulders that actually use their brains to think. So when you get people that look at something as simple as their kid playing a game that they bought that was an M-rated game for their 11-year-old kid because they're too fucking stupid to read a goddamn rating system, because we can't make it the entire box. That would be retarded. I'm sorry, but if you know that on CD cases they come with the parental advisory, on movies you know what the ratings are, so why do you buy a game and not read the fucking rating? How hard is that? You do it for everything else. What's stopping you from doing it there? I know what's stopping you. It's because you're too goddamn fucking lazy to babysit your child properly, to teach them properly, and a game is what they're crying for. You want them to shut up so you can go do whatever the hell you want, like go blow the neighbor downstairs or maybe the mailman, whatever. It doesn't matter. You just do not want to take responsibility for anything, and the fact that you use video games as a scapegoat is the very same thing that you used to keep kids away from you so you can enjoy the life that you wanted, even though you got yourself turned yourself into a parent. You caused this. It is your own fault. It has nothing to do with the games. Stop blaming them. It's pathetic that you think that something that you use to your own advantage, because you don't have any responsibility and no care in the world for your own child to actually teach them properly. Mine did, and they still gave me games. They were able to balance it out. It was fair. Sure, they may think that I game too much now, but at the end of the day, I respect for what they did. I respect that they've supported, and they don't take away what I've had. As a kid, they rarely ever grounded me on games. They really only did it once, but when it was pretty much in my teens, so at that point, it didn't matter. So a lot of the time of my childhood was spent in front of a Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo. I also spent a lot of it outside, and I spent a lot of it with my family too. I spent it playing with my little brother. It was balanced. It had nothing. It was not the typical kid now who basically goes to school, comes home, plays Call of Duty for 5 hours, calls everybody a fag because he thinks it's cool because it's the word of the day that he learned on whatever random YouTube video he came across or whatever show his parents let him watch too because they're too fucking lazy to look at that either. Okay. I'm a little calm now. Not really, but it drives me nuts that the industry that I love so much is being attempted to be thwarted by a bunch of retards who have no common sense and no common decency. Because I know they're going to come back and say, oh, he's using the swear words a lot and he's insulting me. Shut up. You have no right when you decide to go and try to change everybody's lives because you do not understand and you choose not to understand. It is all you. It's not me. I didn't do anything. I just live my life the way I see fit. You are trying to change the way that I live. You're trying to change the way that all of us gamers live. You have no right to do that. Same with you politicians who think you can stop this. You can't. Freedom of speech goes a long way. It's amazing that to this day, it's held up. It's amazing to me because all you've tried to do is take that away from us. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression. I don't go around telling you that Christianity shouldn't exist. I don't agree with it, but I don't try to change you. So don't come here and tell me I can't. Don't come here and tell me that what I love is a sin and it causes people to go up to schools and kill children. Do not use that as an excuse. Try to come up with something better. Or better yet, if you're really that worried about video games, and you are a parent especially, don't buy them for your kids. If you really want gaming to go away, passing a law isn't going to do shit. In business, it always works the same way. If you want to stop something or if you want to change the landscape of something, it's very simple. You get them at their wallet. You don't buy it. It's always the same. If you don't want something, then don't get it. And if it means that your child is going to have to cry his eyes out every day because you won't buy him that next Call of Duty, too fucking bad for him. He's not of age. And if your kid's going to cry because he's not getting a Nintendo Wii, who cares? He can go outside and play. There are plenty of other things to do. It's not fair to him that you're not doing it, but it's the only way that you're going to be able to change anything. Because trying to pass a law, because trying to censor, because trying to ban is not going to work. I feel bad for all Australians because their government is so ridiculously retarded and can't see that they are only doing this because they do not understand the medium and that they are scared of it. Saints Row 4 and State of Decay are not going to cause an influx of violence. It's not going to cause an influx of drug use. Poverty causes violence and drug use. Trauma at home, trauma at school, mental instability, that causes violence and drug use. Games keep people involved. It keeps them connected, and it keeps them inside. If you want to try to take my games away, think of it the same way that Alex Jones was talking about trying to take his guns away. Because you're going to have to kill me. You're going to have to kill all of us gamers if you're going to want a chance to get rid of our games. Because we're never going away, just like everything else. Just like metal music in the 80s when the PMRC tried to take it down. We will always be here and we will always be fighting for what we love. And no matter what you say, no matter what you do, we will come back with something even better to trump whatever you come up with. Come up with whatever reason you want. We'll find a way to take it down. My cat is trying to knock over the camera. This is not helping. Do you want in on the shot? Here, we'll give you a quick wave. Say hi. There you go. She's been running around the whole time meowing at me. She's not happy that, you know, I'm not feeding her, even though she just got fed. She's an attention whore like that. Either way. But seriously, I know I just completely killed the mood with that. But seriously, if you do want, you can bring up any argument you want with me, and I will have something like that. I will trump it. Because unlike all of you who think that you know what we need to do, you don't have nearly the amount of intelligence that most of us gamers have. You underestimate us so much. You think that just because we go and play shooters all day long, that we're just stupid. Admittedly, there's some of us that are. I mean, you get the frat boys in there, yeah, you're going to get that. But most of us, the hardcore generation, the podcasting generation, the video, the YouTubers, we are all extremely intelligent people. Don't underestimate us. You'll fail miserably when you do. So, long story short, it's amazing to me. I guess it is amazing to me that, Australia made a 6-month run without banning anything. But at the same time, I'm not surprised that they did. Because I thought they'd smarten up. I admitted when they passed that, when they instituted the 18 plus rating, I'm thinking finally they figured it out. They understand it now. And then they just changed it. Whatever. If they want to be like that, fine. It won't matter 10, 15 years down the road when our generation slowly creeps into office and we will start changing the landscape. In the next 20 years, I can guarantee you, the gaming is going to change. It's going to be completely acceptable because we're all going to be the ones deciding the rules, deciding the fate of everything. Whether the industry will still be bustling and whether it will be not watered down and mainstream like music, film, and everything else is, which I have a massive hatred for in some cases, especially music. Either way, I'm thankful right now that games are where they are now, and I'm very happy that they keep me sane. Really, they do. Except when I play, NHL 13. That's a whole different story. I'll get... Yeah. But seriously. Games are not violent. They don't cause violence. They're harmless. They're just forms of entertainment. They make things so much better for us because they are fun as hell. So quite frankly, give up. Stop trying because you're not going to win. Because at every step of the way, we'll be waiting. And we will win. Huh. I did not expect to be done this quickly. I think I just stretched it out another 5 minutes because I decided to go insulting parents and politicians for a little while. So we got a few minutes left. So I guess I'm going to go quickly into something that I was originally going to post into a rant, but I figure if I got the time, I might as well start it now. It's funny that I was mentioning frat boys and kids who play COD. And it's getting to the point where as time goes by, I become more and more amazed just how disrespectful the community is. It's as much as I'm ashamed to be a gamer because they try to bring in social gamers and casual gamers to lop them into us. I'm also ashamed to be a gamer because of some of the people that game on a regular basis. Call of Duty is the big one that kills me. But there's a whole... I mean, especially when I'm glad that I'm not into League of Legends. I'm glad that I'm not an MMO guy. I'm glad I'm not into those things. Because it's just as bad. The internet is just troll central, and it's amazing to me how much time people will spend wasting other people's time. Which is just such an oxymoron. But the issue really at hand is, you get people on there that basically, live every single day. They get up every morning with the intent that all they're going to do is just try to ruin everybody else's day. And I'm sorry that you're not getting laid, or that you're depressed, that no one loves you, that you have no friends, that you have no life, that you're fat, that you're out of shape, that you're just an ugly piece of crap. It's not our fault. So why do you have to ruin it for us? The only person whose life should be ruined is the person that you should be looking into the mirror every morning when you get up. You get guys who go around just insulting people left and right. You get guys who try to bring out every cheat in the book they've ever found, try to use that against somebody. And then you get the guys who just speak absolute nonsense and just try to curse every other word like they're Benjamin motherfucking King, Saints Row. That kind of deal. And then you get the guys who just try to talk like the gangsta, because, yeah, I know this, bitch, you get on. Like, I'm terrible. You can tell, I'm pretty sure I've proven it more than enough times, I'm not a great voice actor. But you get the guys that go around acting like they're something they're not. I'm so sick and tired of these wigger kids, You're jack shit, and you really think that getting this attitude off on Call of Duty in a multiplayer lobby filled with random people, you really think it's going to do something? Take a look at some of the favorite channels out there, especially some of the Machinima channels. They're pretty normal. They're all unique and quirky in their own way, but there's not really, off the top of my head, I can't think of a gaming channel that is just flourishing because of some guy who's trying to act like he's Jay-Z playing video games. It amazes me how people think that perception is cool. It's amazing to me that people think that just because they swear all the time and because they try to insult people left and right, that's going to mean people think they're cool. And I know a lot of it, too, is a lot of people who deal with that on a daily basis at school and try to bring it back and use it against other people just to make themselves feel better. And that's another thing that's just plain wrong. And I know because I used to think like that, too, when I was getting bullied, especially through late elementary and middle school, where I thought, man, I wish I could do that to other people. It would even things out. But again, just like I did earlier when I was talking to myself, I figured it out. It doesn't do anything. It's not worth it. It doesn't make anything better. It just makes you feel shittier about yourself because then you realize just how bad everybody else feels when you do it to them. It just reminds you about how bad you feel when people do it to you. So, I don't get where people get off being an asshole online for no apparent reason to people that they don't know. It's the anonymity of it. I mean, at will now, I can walk into a Call of Duty lobby, usually Search and Destroy or Hardcore Team Deathmatch. Those are the two modes I play the most, but especially Search because it forces people to play only in game chat. And give me 5 rounds, I'll have at least 2 people on my friends list after there because not only am I respectful to people, I do actually give them props when they do something really good. I still act normal, if I think a kill's bullshit, I do that, but I do it in a fair way. And then when people challenge me on, oh, you're a camper, oh, you're hard scoping, I'm playing like a normal fucking military soldier would do. Guys, go find me a video on YouTube where there's a professional quickscoper and have him try to, use this in the real military. Not only will he pretty much kill his shoulder or bust his eye out, he'll die. Quickscoping doesn't work in real life. Stop assuming that that's the only way to kill the sniper. But the most important thing is I try to be entertaining when I'm on there. I don't try to spend it going around, oh, fuck you. I want this one. Oh, I got gold camos. Oh, my camo's bacon. No, I go online, I'm nice to people, and I try to, get a joke here and there. And there are some, one of the funniest things that ever happened, and I over-embellished it because I knew that it would get a laugh. I was defusing a bomb. And they let me do it, knowingly because, they wanted the kill cam to be that funny. So they waited for me to search the bomb, or to defuse it was plant the bomb, that's right. I planted the bomb, it was 2-on-1, and I figured, okay, I'll just quickly plant this and then go into a corner. The second I finished planting, I turned to run away, guy stands right in front of me with a rocket launcher, bam. And I shrieked on the microphone and everything else, and everybody was pissing themselves laughing. And normally when people would start going around making fun, saying, you're such a fucking retard, dude. Like, my God, you're such a fag. Blah, blah, blah. Instead, because I was over-embellishing and going, you scared the shit out of me. And they're all going, holy crap, that was so good. That was so much. People enjoyed it. They weren't using it as a point to prod me with because I wasn't going around going, that was bullshit. Fuck you. I didn't act like an idiot. I made it seem like I was enjoying myself, and I did enjoy it. I thought it was hilarious when it happened. People take these things too seriously. You're not an MLG gamer. Stop trying to play like that. I can't stand the guys who go around saying, "Oh, you're going to kill my 3.0 kill death ratio." Go to fucking hell. Your score does not matter in fucking game battles, or hell, in the big tournaments. Do you really think your score is going to make that much of a difference? The only score that matters is your team's score. So stop trying to act like your kill death ratio means something. My game has always been the same. I never usually end up at the top of the leaderboard. What I end up doing is I'm the one that usually has the best ratio because I'm the one that dies the least. My job in the game is to make sure I play smart enough that I stay out of trouble, don't go into choke points that I know I'm going to get killed in. I might get a kill, but it's a guaranteed death for me either. I play smart. I also talk smart when I'm in there. And people just quite frankly make no effort to do that, and it just disgusts me. Because I'm not proud to be a gamer when people like those exist. People that just basically spend their days wasting away trying to make everybody else just as miserable as they are. You bought a video game to enjoy it. Why not try to so everyone else can? So, we killed a little bit more time. I think we've done what we need to do. So this is the end of the podcast. Thanks for watching. I hope the camera angle looks okay. The issue too is that, I don't do too much moving around. I mean, again, it's like 45 minutes of stuff. Like, I'm not going to go like this and go crazy all the time. It's not going to work out that way. So I try to do what I can. And I hope you guys like the new format too. I haven't started editing this yet. I pray that I'm going to make this look as good as possible because I'm nervous that it's going to be a bitch to do. But either way. So, I'll get into all the plugs. You can like us on Facebook at DLOpinions. DLOpinions is our Twitter handle, as is our YouTube handle, but you're already on that. CS Radical is our gaming channel. We got a lot of stuff coming up for that as well. Some games that I've been adding on to it. Chivalry, Game Dev Tycoon. Am I adding anything else? I might be doing Awesome Knots. I'm not sure about that yet. But because I got Steam now, I got so many more choices. I'm thanking God for that because now I don't need to do Minecraft anymore because I wasn't enjoying that. I'm sorry, but the survival's going away because I just did not like doing it. I don't like playing Minecraft alone. It doesn't work. Which leaves at this point the only two games that I'm doing Xbox-wise still are MLB because I got an undefeated streak I got to keep going with. I got to keep doing it. I got to hang in there. So, And State of Decay because that game is just way too much fucking fun for its own good. And I mean, there's not really anything coming out for a while. I don't think there's anything new coming out that I have any intention of playing until Saints Row 4 or at the very least Payday 2. So it's going to be a little while. It's going to be an interesting summer because the summer sale for Steam is coming up soon. So that'll be where I get all my content for the next 3 months. So what have I forgotten? DLOpinions.com, obviously the site. If you have any questions for us, you can either tweet us at hashtag AskDLOpinions or you can send us an email at askdlopinions@gmail.com. And last but not least, the two songs that we use at the intro, as always, is Heart Cannon by Carbohydro, MCARBOHYDROM.net is the website. And the song during Quick Hits is the Castlevania 2 boss theme done by The Advantage. So with that being said, thank you for watching, and hopefully tomorrow we will have our first episode of the Chat Box online on YouTube, our YouTube-only podcast. It will be a panel. I'm hoping to have 3 other guys with me on there, which means I won't have to talk for 45 minutes straight, although I'm pretty sure, knowing me in conversations, I'm not going to shut up either. So I'm sorry you guys will have to deal with me then too. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Logic. Cult of Dusty reference there. That guy's awesome too. Check out his channel. He's got some amazing stuff on there. But thanks for watching. Use your fucking brains, parents, please. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.